right, guys, so what I'd like you to do is take out your focus, your study guide, and your outline. You're going to pass your outline to Mackenzie. Thank you, Mackenzie. Oh my God, it's from Sensation and Perception. All right, everyone should have a whiteboard. We are going to do boards. We're going to kind of review. I have been looking at your test. You are way overqualified for your test. So you'll be fine, especially with you being here today. You're absolutely, Simone, don't waste my ink. So with as much as we are going to be doing, you will absolutely be overqualified for tomorrow's test. So I'm glad you're here. On your whiteboard. By the way, there's no quiz, there's no do now today, just because it's a weird day anyway. On your whiteboard, please tell me who is the father of insight thinking, of insight learning, please. Shh. Good. Come on, come on, come on. You guys came, you wanted to do something, so while we're doing it, let's go. Sophia. Polar. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the gentleman who is behind observational learning. Oh my God, maybe you won't kill it.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I will. I wasn't here yesterday either.
Did you watch my video?
No, but I will when I get home.
Yeah, you better. Oh, yesterday I forgot to record.
Oh, whoops.
So Seligman's gone.
You're lucky.
What? Dibs, who is it? Bandura. On your whiteboard, what is Bandura's famous experiment called? Bye, Raylan!
I
Good.
come to your review after school, but I can't have crew.
Oh, that's totally fine. I'm going to record it.
I'm sorry.
What do you got, Carson? Bobo doll. On your whiteboard, please tell me, when Kohler does his insight, what type of animals is he doing it on? You're supposed to do it internally. What is it? Simone?
Chimps.
Chimps.
Stuck on an island where the only thing he could do was at this like monkey observatory. So he was kind of forced to do it. So not intentional.
Thanks. Not on your AP exam. I have no idea either. Here we go. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the gentleman behind latent learning? Oh my goodness. Some of you are suffering on these basic ones. You are going to get rocked tomorrow. Sydney. Tolman. On your whiteboard, please tell me, Tolman came up with one major concept in his thing. So learning can be learned without reinforcement. However, what is the other major thing that he learns? Good. Good. No. Tibbs. What is it? I was going to say Des, but we're not friends. Desiree. Desiree, what is it?
Cognitive maps.
I like the pouting at the end of it too. All right, cognitive maps. Do you want to see a cognitive map video clip?
Yes.
It's a happy one, and it includes a puppy. I think we could use a happy puppy video. No, it's not. He's not going to get hurt.
Yeah, no, we didn't watch it.
Wait, Tolman was the rat.
Yeah. You're so bitter about it. It's a famous experiment. All
You could have done it some other way.
right, do you want to meet Roy? Roy's a little cutie.
Hey, buddy. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come on, buddy. Come here.
Okay, so he has an obstacle, and he wants to get to his mama.
Come here. Come here, buddy.
It's not me. I have a black lab.
Come here.
Because it looks like my Toby.
Come here. Come on.
Yeah! Look at how happy he is. That's a cognitive map. He was like, oh my God, I can't get there. And then, oh my God, I remember.
Yeah, that's also kind of like.
It's a little bit of insight, but the fact that he remembers that there's an alternative way is a perfect example of a cognitive map. All right. There you go. That was my video of the day. Actually, I have a couple other ones if we need to. But one of the other things that is on your test is imprinting. Imprinting is how animals learn how to behave and how to act. It is on your test. You'll be able to handle it, I promise. I have a video clip from a 90s movie that actually happens to be one of my favorite 90s movies. Please, it is based on a true story. My last class argued if it was possible. It is possible. It is based on a true story. It happened again a couple of years ago. But it's a perfect 90s movie, and it's called Fly Away Home. You may have seen it. It has Anna Paquin in it.
At 14,
So just
she
chill.
came
Don't say,
from
oh my God.
halfway around the world to live on her father's farm.
Make it just like you remember it.
I don't
You don't what?
remember.
He was a dreamer who didn't remember what it meant to be a dad.
I'm gonna be in the shop a lot.
I'm not a baby. You don't have to hold my hand.
It seemed like nothing could ever make them a family
Hi.
This is Susan. She's a friend of mine.
Excuse me.
until one day
Hey! What do you think you're doing? No!
an amazing adventure was born.
Can I keep him?
Sure.
Hey guys, Mom! Hey!
It's called imprinting. Amy was the first thing they saw when they were born, so they think she's their mother.
That one's fluffy, and that one's grumpy.
See, the problem with your birds is they're going to want to migrate south, and they need someone to show them how.
Morgan!
They were orphans,
Put him down.
All domestically raised geese have to be rendered flightless.
No! What are you doing?
Stay off of my place!
who needed a mother to teach them.
You gotta feed them every 2 hours, and you're not allowed to put them outside.
Amy,
Are you sure you can handle this?
And a father to show them the way.
suppose I built an aircraft and then taught Amy how to fly it.
It's a great idea. You know, birds follow me, I follow you. We all go south.
Together, they charted a course,
Let's go to the right. It's all you, Amy.
tested their wings,
Simone.
and took to the skies. From the director of The Black Stallion
Come in, Mama Goose.
Hello, Papa Goose.
comes an incredible journey for anyone who's ever had a dream
Dad, they're really flying with me.
and the courage to make it fly.
Do you have no dreams? Is that why you're injecting this
Jeff
girl?
Daniels,
You're a bunch of
Academy
jerks.
Award winner Anna
All of you.
Paquin,
It's the what?
Fly Away Home.
I've seen that.
Just needs to be more
I watched it
dramatic
with my
for that
grandma
one.
when I was
It's a
little.
good movie. It was a good movie. Every once in a while, you hear people doing it, just because of the duck. Because if the duck's parents get the geese parents get killed, then you have to bring them back. It is. It is. All right. So take out your focus in your study guide. What questions do you have? I taught like a boss. I'm sorry. Are you talking or are you mumbling? Because neither of them are decipherable.
Number 3.
What does number 3 say?
Explain. What are
Oh
some-
my God, this is so much better already.
What are some of the Latin learning principles?
Hannah.
Explicitly state one difference in comparison of Latin learning to classical conditioning and one difference of Latin learning to operant conditioning.
Okay, Latin learning has no reinforcement or incredibly delayed reinforcement, which means it's not going to be used till much later. Keep in mind, you do need to write full sentences on this. So Latin learning has no reinforcement or super delayed reinforcement. Like for instance, your mom or dad has taught you how to do laundry, but your mom or dad may continue to do your laundry for you. However, that first week of college, and you're standing there, and you're like, oh my God, how do I do this? And you're like, oh my God, I totally remember. I could read the directions on the soap. Or you could just be able to recall it.
That's negative reinforcement, isn't it? Because you're avoiding the consequence of your
Everything is either positive reinforcement or negative reinforcement. However, classical latent learning is the use of information well after the delay. You can say everything is positive and negative reinforcement.
Everything is positive.
I know. So what does that have to do with latent learning right now and using soap? You're the one who brought it up. Where are you trying to go? Are you just trying to be argumentative, which would be unique? So that would be one unique thing for Latin learning. Classical conditioning is going to elicit in our response, while Latin learning is going to be the choice to do it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Like with classical conditioning, you're not really thinking of it. You're not thinking about it. You're just responding, which makes it really different. Stop wasting my ink.
I'm not writing anything.
You can cap it. I'm not doing whiteboards right now.
I'm just spinning.
Well, that's really great. Cap it.
Do I have to?
Yeah, cap it, and you can keep spinning all day long because that's what you're doing, remember? All right, and then I have to have one that's the same. Sophia?
Different to operant condition. And then what are some of the Latin?
Oh, one for operant and Latin.
Yeah.
Operant conditioning is going to be based on immediate responses or reinforcement, not responses. It's based on immediate reinforcement that will prolong the behavior. And the behavior is tied directly to the reinforcers. Latin learning has no reinforcers, which means it's not tied to anything. Like for instance, okay, if every time you raised your hand, I gave you a cookie, after a while, I'm going to be too poor to afford cookies anymore. Are you going to stop raising your hand if I stop giving you cookies?
Yes.
Like, for instance, in those classrooms, like, Ryan kind of does this, but I think he's better about it. There's some classes that if there's, like, a point system, you won't do things because you should do them. You're only going to do them for points. That's operant conditioning to a T. You're only doing it because you want to have it or you want to avoid something. Latent learning is going to be you're doing it because you need to do it or you want to do it, and it's not tied to any type of reinforcement. You're completely doing it. It's free will. While operant conditioning, you're either being motivated to do something or motivated to avoid something. So that'd be the big difference. All right, how did I do? Is that it?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. What else do you need? We might as well use our time effectively. No one else has anything to do?
Biofeedback for number 2,
Please.
please.
Okay, biofeedback is dealing with your respiratory, your respiratory, like your breathing, your heartbeat, like your sweating and all that stuff. Biology, it's your body. Don't think of it as your brain. Obviously, your brain's in your body, and I get that, but think of like all like your blood pressure and stuff. When you talk about biofeedback, it's the ability to understand how to control your body and certain rein in certain situations. Like for instance, when you first started driving, isn't it nerve-wracking? For your first time getting behind the wheel, knowing that you can literally die behind that wheel, that you can literally smash thousands of dollars worth of things in 1 second. You can lose your license. You can kill other people. I mean, you should be terrified. I'm not trying to be dramatic. You should be terrified. And you should still be terrified kind of driving. Okay? Biofeedback is the first time you got in the car, you were probably like super shaky and you grabbed onto the wheel and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Oh my God, it's going to kind of explode and do all that stuff. Now you can kind of manage that nervousness and you can kind of focus it in and stuff like that. Biofeedback is the regulating your responses, your heartbeat, and all that into a more productive way. And that's typically done with meditation and stuff like that. Any of you yogis? I hate yoga.
I've done it before.
You like yoga?
Yeah.
I hate it.
Do
Do you like it?
My aunt teaches.
Oh, I did hot yoga once.
Hot
yoga
is so good.
It was hard.
I can't do any of it. I can do like the lying dog, you know, when you just lie there, but that's it. I have like no strength at all. It's some of it is really hard, but like I'm never straight enough and like I'm not strong enough, and then I'm just in there and I am like the moron everyone's kind of looking at and sneering at. Like I know I am. Are you mean to the terrible yogis?
No.
Or you're as bad as I am?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just avoid it. So, biofeedback is that whole type of, like, at the end of yoga, you know how they kind of, you do your little meditation and stuff like that, which is really nice.
Yeah.
I always fell asleep in, like, the 10 classes I've ever did. It's so nice because I literally got my butt kicked because I can't do it. So, by the time I got there, I was ready for a nap. That whole settling of your mind and stuff like that is biological feedback. You kind of slow down your pulse, slow down the tears.
How does it provide
Kind of
feedback for teachers in classrooms?
Okay, biofeedback is going to be, some of you have really bad test anxiety. That I can ask you a conversation about the test, about the content I'm teaching, and you can answer it perfectly, but the moment you sit down in front of a test, you completely blank. The feedback of it is by me having a conversation with you about it. I can understand that it's not you, it's the test, and that test anxiety is kind of blocking it. Seeing your behavior in my classroom in comparison to outside my classroom also gives me a kind of a better idea. If you're a super rambunctious person like outside, like you're super active, like last year I had a kid who was all over the place. All over the place. All over the place. And like I just thought he just hated my classroom and was just like just rude. And then I saw him outside my classroom literally running around campus. And I was like, I get it. And so, because of that, we did a lot better once I realized that. So sometimes my man needs to run. So he would say, Miss Bennett, like, I need to run. And I was like,
Oh, God.
and he would literally run. But when he came back, he was so much better. True or not true? Were you in his class? Yeah. Sometimes the man needed to run, right? He's a really nice kid.
He's in my last
You've never seen him run around?
He likes to jump over the desk.
I literally feel the wind sometimes.
He's a really, really, really nice kid. He's a very smart kid, too. He just has a lot of energy. Has a lot of energy.
Who else? Nobody else runs around this school that I know of. I mean,
Anyway, is that good enough?
The neurofeedback.
Please.
Please.
All right, neurofeedback. Neurofeedback is, so all of us have different brain patterns in our way of thinking. I think really, really fast, which is why I kind of jumble up my words sometimes. Because I'm usually thinking about something else while I'm talking, which is not the greatest thing, but I have a lot going on. So sometimes I'm more focused, sometimes I'm not, which I know you can tell the difference on days that I don't have a lot going on, and then days there's too much going on and everything's happening. So my brain, I do think really, really fast. Some of you think very, very slowly, but you get a ton more depth and details. Okay, that you, like for me, I only know what I need to know, which you hear me say all the damn time. Like, my man's living on an island with the chimps, and he was forced to study the chimps.
He started there in World War I. World War I. He could do it all.
See, that is not something I care about, and I need what I need, and I move on. I'm a fast thinker. Now, Simone is also very, very quick on pulling information together, but she is a slow absorption, which means she needs to know as much as she needs to know before she would be like, all right, I'm ready to move on to the next thing. So she Googles. If you're a person who Googles, and you're like, oh, I just need to know. I just need to know. I just need to know. That means you have a slow absorption, which means you just require much more information than other people, and you like to know the details of things. Simone is a perfect example of that. So it's not like you're not intellectually slow. It's just the absorption. I need to know what I need to know, and I move on. I just don't care. As soon as I get what I want, I'm done. And that's how I teach. That's why I can teach that much, that fast, is because I teach my kids to get what they need and move on. And if you talk to the other AP Psych teacher, other kids, they go into depth on some things that I skip right over. Have you noticed that? That if you're having a conversation and someone comes up and like, hey, are you guys doing this? And you're like, we never even talked about it. It's because it's not a huge focus on your AP exam, so I skip it. And then I'd rather focus on things that I know they're going to hammer on the AP exam, and we'll see that. And there's also some things that I go into because I really enjoy teaching that they don't enjoy teaching, which means they don't really cover it, and I do. So it's kind of one of those things. Okay? So neurofeedback is being able to still your mind when you have to still your mind in order to accomplish something, and then speed it up in order to process more information faster. Neurofeedback deals with all the interference that goes on in your head. Perfect example of that. Have you ever noticed that when you're fighting with someone that you're so mad you just can't make words? I hate that. Because, okay, so for me, I get so frazzled when I'm arguing with my husband because when I get angry, I just rage. Which I think you've seen partial bits of. You haven't seen it in its full glory. Don't worry, AP World has, especially 5th. Anyway, when my husband argues, it's like the mind stills, and he just makes the perfect argument of why I am wrong. It's like everything is quiet in the world, and he has all the time in the world to craft the perfect argument of why I'm wrong and how horrible of a person I am in one little statement. It's impressive, and I just start crying because I'm so mad. Neurofeedback! You can craft the most beautiful argument of why I am wrong. I'm not always wrong, by the way, but his argument is always very persuasive. That makes me think, wait, am I wrong? No, I'm not! Neurofeedback. All right, what else?
So how was that?
Isn't that the one that they do the thing where it's like people can control their own brain waves actually? Like they'll do it, they have, I think studies are happening now where kids will, with asthma or something, will be able to actually like, they'll start having an asthma attack, but then they'll be able to like force their body to
It's
stop.
biofeedback. Biofeedback is the regulation. Neurofeedback is kind of the stopping and the processing of information.
Because it does it like
Yeah, respiratory is biofeedback. Look at the definition. It's all right. Okay? So when you talk about biofeedback, it's all the respiration, the breathing, the sweating, right, Simone? Great conversation. All right, I'm done. Still talking to you.
Neurofeedback is like all the like physical stuff, and neurofeedback
Yes.
is all the brain.
All the brain stuff.
So how does neurofeedback provide feedback for teachers in classrooms?
Okay,
Oh, I get it. When you're talking during a vocabulary class.
that would be neurofeedback when the only thing you can focus on is dealing with me.
Sorry.
That would be.
Sorry.
You're not the only one. Thank you, Sophia. It's been a joy, Sophia. You've been a real joy today. Another one would be, for instance, a lot of studies are being done right now. Some really exciting research is being done on our lower socioeconomic schools. Every time a kid causes a disturbance with the frustration of not being able to read and do as well as their peers are doing because they're behind, and that frustration that comes with coming to school and not being prepared for school, they are no longer sending kids to detention. They're sending kids to meditation rooms and teaching kids to like slow down their mind, recover, think through information, and then they get sent back to the rooms within 15 minutes and they are like excited and ready to learn again. While sending a kid to a detention, they're removed from the room, they're still incredibly frustrated, and then they're going to be more frustrated, and it's causing all these massive changes. So Simone, you're buying me a pack of markers for next Monday? Perfect.
Markers.
Yeah.
I have $0, so I'm not gonna do it.
So I should continue to keep that pen, capped like we talked about the last time.
It was capped most of the time.
Cap it, put it down. All right, what else?
The token is
Token economy. Oh my God. Did you ever have that teacher who had a treasure box in the corner of the room?
Great.
Oh my God. It was filled with the biggest, crappiest waste of stuff. Like those stupid spider rings. Like, come on. No person in the history of time has ever wanted
My
one.
4th grade teacher had these glasses that had like the mirrors.
Oh my
in the
God.
back.
Okay, so in your 4th grade class, typically they're in elementary school. A token economy, you have to do something and you earn to get to go. Now, in my first school that I taught in on the East Coast, there was a teacher called Miss Naherney. Miss Naherney went to Columbia to become a teacher, which is the Columbia Teaching College is the first teaching college in the United States. It is the pinnacle of education. Like it's better, it has a higher reputation than, huh?
That's such a waste of money.
Yeah.
And I agree, which is why I went to Flagler, and I didn't go to any of the huge ones. Oh, I loved Flagler. It's one of the best teachers who come out of Flagler have a better reputation than those who come out of FSU, USF, UF, because it's a smaller school, and it's for teaching. Anyway, she went to the college, the teaching school of Columbia, which is a huge deal, and she was phenomenal. Like what are you doing?
Sorry, it's really warm.
Anyway, she could move kids who are so far behind and move them up. Like she was the greatest teacher I've ever seen, and just to be breathing the same air was just an incredible thing. Like she was amazing. Anything Naherney said to me, I just said thank you, and I just drank it in. Like she was that phenomenal, and she had a treasure box in her room. She only taught the lowest level kids in the school. And she would move those kids huge jumps every single year, which is so impressive. And she had a treasure box in her room. And that treasure box was legit. Because she would use all of her funding, because she would have the highest, she has the highest scores in Hillsborough in the state of Florida. She got Teacher of the Year in the state of Florida like a bunch of times, which you're not supposed to do. And I mean, she's just such a boss. Anyway, she had a treasure box that had t-shirts, that she made t-shirts that said, Naherney said I'm the best, because she was such a and it was just amazing stuff. So these kids would literally sell their souls to do incredibly well in her class to get to go in the box. And one of them, at the end of the year, you had to have a certain amount of points to even try for it, and she would wear a shirt with your face on it saying that that's my favorite student of the year. Whatever it was, you had to earn it. You had to have a certain amount of points. You had to do a certain amount of this, and then you had to get to that point. And the kids would work for her, and they would do whatever it took to earn those stupid points to get into that box. And because they loved her, they would do whatever she asked. That's a token economy. When you have small things to reinforce a behavior that you're trying to achieve. If you've ever done a book club where you got a gold star every time you read a book, yeah, that's a token economy. Ren does a token economy. If you have AP Art History, with his little Ren, what does he call them? Billy Bucks. He does his little Billy Bucks, and he has his little flags and all that stuff. And if you get a certain amount of Billy Bucks, you can do notes, tests, and stuff like that. It's a token economy. All right, what else?
Isn't money a token economy?
No. I mean, that would be no token economy. It's a representation.
I mean, money is a representation.
Yeah, oh my God, sweetie. Keep it small. We're not trying to find the meaning of life here. We are trying to find small. Yes, your dollar does not actually represent. It used to be on the gold standard. Now it's not even on the silver standard anymore. We hope our money when we cash in actually means it's worth $20, which of course it doesn't because it's an inflation and all that stuff, but Toledo will tell you more. Oh, you don't have Toledo.
I don't.
That's
I got
okay.
posters for her today.
You got what?
Today we did for class, we have posters.
Posters on what?
The wall.
I know they go on the wall, sweetie. You don't typically hang them on the floor. What were they?
They're not entrepreneurs, so they're on the stage.
Oh, nice.
They all just fell off. So
There you go. Well, that's very nice. So, no, token economy is not the U.S. federal government's currency going around. She's not listening. Why do I bother? Why? What else do you need?
Applied behavior analysis.
Applied behavior analysis. Okay, behavior modification follows behavior analysis. Okay, behavior analysis is going to look at, not literally on your sheet of paper, but behavior analysis is looking at what behaviors you do that are productive and supportive, which ones are retroactive or hurt you. Every single one of you do things that are really good and help you in the long term. A lot of you do a lot of things that aren't so helpful. Like, for instance, I am capable of doing a lot of work for a sustained amount of time. Like, when I'm going, I can conquer the world. However, if I decide that I'm sitting on my couch doing nothing, I'm literally doing nothing. I don't even know what shows on TV. I'm just kind of staring off into space. It drives my husband crazy. I leave cabinets open all the time just because I'm done with whatever's in there. I just don't even close them. drives them crazy. So behavior analysis looks at the pros and cons of your behavior. What's the long-term effect, short-term effect, figures out what you're doing well, what you're not doing well. Behavior modification is changing your behavior in order to make it more pro-social, more proactive, and more beneficial long-term. So behavior analysis is looking at what you do in a normal situation, normal life. Behavior modification is changing behaviors to make it more productive. And this is called, we put under learning because we're shaping behavior. Perfect example with my husband is, so McCray loves going to the gym. I hate going to the gym. He goes to the gym and he does those, like, you know, the little shakers, you do the protein shakes. You know what I'm talking about? It has like the little metal spring ball thing in it. Whatever. So he goes to the gym and before he goes, he puts the little pink stuff in it. And it like gets him all amped up for the gym. I don't know what it is. Pre-workout. Got it. So he does the pre-workout. Leaves it in my kitchen sink. Goes to the gym. Comes back from the gym. Takes it out of the sink. So fine. We're here together. I can deal with that. Takes it out of the sink, puts his protein in there, and drinks his protein. And then leaves it in the sink. Okay? He leaves it in the sink when the dishwasher is literally right there. And he leaves it so there's protein at the bottom of the damn protein thing. It drives me absolutely crazy. So by the time I get to it, because I'm annoyed, so I obviously don't do it right away, it's like cakey and crappy and disgusting and smells bad because of course he closes it. So the air is like trapped in there, like suffocated. It's terrible. Anyway, so in order to change his behavior that I clearly hate, every time he's done that as my behavior modification, because I hate that he does that, and I don't understand why he just doesn't put it in the dishwasher, I would take it out of the sink and put it on his dresser. And he's like, why are you doing that? You're going well out of your way. And I was like, well, you're going well out of your way not to put it in the dishwasher. So I'm just reminding you that it needs not put away. Guess what he does now? And rinses it out. Behavior modification. Teacher one would be, for instance, you hearing me yell at Simone for doodling on my board, which she's currently not doing. I see you, Simone. You know that you shouldn't be doodling on your board, and maybe Simone thinks twice, maybe, probably not. Tomorrow she'll forget and she'll doodle on the board. But at least now I'm trying to shape her behavior with behavior modification. I don't like that Simone doodles on my board because it wastes my ink, and I only have so many markers. So I try to change her behavior with behavior modification by yelling at her in front of the class, and hopefully that will change it. I doubt it. I've met Simone. Simone does Simone every day. So that's behavior modification. Another one would be teachers use behavior modification all the time. It's shaping, essentially. We support kids who are doing the right things, and we condemn the kids who aren't.
No name, wall of shame. I'm not pointing at you, Deja.
I know. I was like, damn. What the hell did Deja do to you? Yeah, no name, wall of shame. All those different types of things are behavior modification. Back in the day, you used to get smacked on the wrist with rulers. That's behavior modification. Yeah, in St. Johns County, which is where Flagler College is, it's still legal to hit a kid with a ruler.
Taking my kid there.
It has to be done by the principal.
My
though.
law studies teacher said that if the county says that you can do it, then you're allowed to spank kids at school.
Yes.
Like the teacher can say.
It's not the teacher, it's the principal. It has to be done by the
I have a
principal.
friend who lives in Hazard, Kentucky, which, first of all, that's a bad sign. And
Oh.
corporal punishment is still practiced at their school, but the principal is a boy, so they will only punish the boys at the school because he goes and he spanks them himself.
Yeah, St. Johns County does the same thing.
Corporal punishment.
Yeah.
Kentucky.
Behavior modification. If your parents did behavior modification with you, if you've ever gotten spanked, if you've ever had soap in your mouth, all those different types of things, it's behavior modification.
What's an example for behavior analysis?
Behavior analysis is figuring out what behaviors you like and what behaviors don't. My husband, I did not appreciate him abandoning things, which I did not know was going to be a problem when we were dating. Now that we're married, that ended. But he would also say I've got a lot of crazy though, so that's fine. What else? Feeling pretty good? Hello? This is the one.
We watched the Just Stop Principles video.
No, it's really not that good. It's all last 2 weeks of stuff. What else you need? Can I do memory now? That was kind of beautiful. You guys harmonized really nicely. It was really nice. We had different tones. It was really lovely. It was really lovely.
Can you explain Martin Seligman?
Silkman, that's your depressed dogs, man.
Is he?
Were you here yesterday?
Yeah, you explain the experiment, but you don't have to put like
He's
stuff
just a
for
piece,
him
just like
specifically.
piece of crap.
You're so hateful. Dude, that one really bothered you. How are you going to deal with the monkeys?
I don't know what the monkeys is.
I think you're going to be more mad about the monkeys. Yeah, you're going to be more mad about the monkeys. Silgman, he does learn helplessness. That's his big thing. He's going to be doing the conditioning of behavior based on previous experiences.
Didn't he create the field of like positive psychology or something?
Is that Silgman?
Yeah.
That's not
said
like
it in the book.
relevant to the.
No, not yet. You'll have a page of that when we get to at the end of the year. Positive psychology, sure. That's
Is he
about
just
it.
stopped learning health psychologist?
No, he's not just sold.
Which one were?
He's
None.
In the book.
Yeah.
Oh, are you talking about like
yeah.
previous years?
It said like.
Or are you talking about previous weeks? Or are you talking about this
It
week?
just said something like
In the book,
they
it
were
said like
just stopped
this
psychology.
just stalled psychologist. This just stalled.
Founder of positive psychology.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like as in like overall. Like
Oh.
it's like there's no. Don't think of him as a Gestalt for this week. Later on, his other work is more of the Gestalt stuff. But this is his cornerstone experiment, which is not really a Gestalt piece. Which is why I just leave that alone.
Electrocutes dogs.
He does electrocute dogs.
They don't die.
Later they get put down.
Because they're depressed.
Say later, go down. Here we go. What else we need? We're good? All right, to the boards, darlings. Guys, this week is not hard.
I love that. That was so nice.
That ends next week, by the way. It's a full chapter. Which is what we should be working on right now to get ahead and, use our time more effectively. Because this stuff is not that hard.
That'd be watchable.
Something got me confused.
What type of learning do we say monkey see, monkey do? What type of learning do we say monkey see, monkey do?
Ooh.
I do have a video that there's a bunch of stuff in the video that are on your test tomorrow. Do you want to see it? The problem with the video, and I'm just going to be completely upfront with you, it makes me want to punch myself in the face because all they do is talk like this.
Oh, no.
And it makes me want to physically harm them because that's all they do. So I can show you the video. You want to see it? We got time.
Yeah.
It's way better. Yeah, we'll do it. All right, here we go. Yes, it is being recorded. Huh? There's two of them who do it. This one is better than the other one, but not by much.
Do answers suddenly come to you in a burst of clarity? Or do you learn by watching others? Most people experience both. One common form of learning involves observing and
Guess what's the
mimicking
only thing you're
others.
watching now?
This social modeling is called observational learning. Stanford psychologist Albert Bandura conducted a social experiment that illustrated how aggressive behavior can be learned by watching violence on TV and in real life. First, a group of children watched an adult hit, kick, and sit on an inflatable boxing toy in the shape of a clown, called a Bobo doll. Next, the kids were allowed to play with toys for a short period, after which the toys were taken away in order to build a feeling of frustration. Then the children were allowed to play with the Bobo doll. Not surprisingly, the majority of kids imitated the adults' behavior, hitting the Bobo doll, even using toy hammers and guns provided. While this experiment may seem strange and even a little cruel, there is an important lesson to be learned. We take our cues for appropriate behavior from our parents, brothers, sisters,
Stop.
teachers, friends, and other
Mo.
role models.
You
Monkey
owe
see,
me,
monkey
Mark.
do. Now think about a time when you were puzzling over a problem and all at once a light bulb went on in your head. Suddenly the solution was clear. Those aha moments are called insights. Wolfgang Kuhler, one of the founders of Gestalt psychology, contributed to our knowledge of insight learning. Although his research applies to humans, Kuhler observed how a chimpanzee solved a problem. First, bananas were placed high up in the top of the cage, out of reach of the chimp. After the chimp's efforts were unsuccessful, it stopped and thought over the situation. The chimp finally reached the food not by gradually learning from its previous failed attempts, but by suddenly coming to the realization of the solution. Using a stick, he could reach the bananas. So what do chimps and Bobo dolls have in common? Well, besides the fact that both stories have to do with solving problems by hitting them, they both show ways in which humans can modify behavior. In one case, the method is modeling. After being shown a way to behave, we may employ that method as one that's clearly acceptable. In the other, you need to develop a new way of approaching a problem. There's no modeling to follow, and so a new solution arises and is attempted. In both cases, learning takes place, and you have a new way to solve problems. The two can work together as well. Once you have an insight into a solution, others will see it and model their own behavior on yours.
Ugh.
Wait.
Yes.
What did it
There is actually a couple things. There's 4 or 5 things from that video that are definitely on your test. And the way she phrased it is pretty much what's on your test. So it's not a waste of time. It's not a filler. It's actually pretty good. I just hate them.
What are the key elements for the
I've gotcha. I can show you right now, darling. Yep.
Wait, but that's for observational.
It's for all of it.
Okay.
Observational. Are you talking about cognitive?
Well,
Do you
it
need
just
cognitive or
says-
observational?
It just says for learning.
Oh, it's observation.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
Whew. All right. Any last minute questions, concerns, comments? No. So tomorrow you have your test on learning 2. Should be pretty easy. It's really not hard. Making sure that you know the differences between your different types of learning, you should be just fine. Making sure you know your names. There's like 4 or 5 questions on names. Just making sure you're tying which one goes to what. So it's a pretty straightforward one. There's a couple examples, but mostly it's basic. Some are even explaining the experiments, and you have to identify what experiment is what.
Why is attention?
I liked it just.
Go grab a blank. Go grab a scanner, and I'll write on the back of it. All right, guys.
Why is attention relevant?